Have you ever felt like there's something inside of you and it just knows? It knows where you're going. And you're so busy doubting yourself. And you're so busy being afraid this world needs you to show up and be exactly who you came here to be and to trust that that is more than enough.
Take a breath, inner sight. We on a quest for higher heights. I see the summit, yeah, the time is right. Reaching for my dreams, can't give up the fight. I got angels at every angle, and they are able to help me out the web if I'm entangled. Searching for the truth, sending blessings to Oshun. Set intentions with the moon, we in tune.
She brings the light.
Look up to the stars, cause they gave us life. We come from the womb, in this world of strife. But you give me hope, like the northern lights. Aurora borealis, sipping potion from the chalice. Ancient medicine, I'm floating in my crystal palace. I see you dancing in the...
Okay, welcome everyone to Miracle in the Matrix. Drop into the chat where you're joining from, how you're feeling today. We've got a lot of people joining the replay as well, so welcome if you're on the replay. We are going to be here together for an hour today, so we're going to drop straight in. We've got an energy practice coming through, and we've got some activations coming through as well for you. So let me share my screen. We'll introduce ourselves and we'll get into it. Okay. All right. Can everyone see my screen? There is a big, beautiful picture of Susie and myself. Miracle in the Matrix. Welcome to day one. This is a 2-day event. So we're on day one at the moment. And I'm going to hand over to Susie.
Okay, so welcome everyone. So good to see so many of you here live. So many familiar faces and some new faces. So welcome. And then welcome if you're catching up on the replay as well. So we're going to dive straight into it. So what you will need for today is a pen and paper, because there will be a moment where we drop into some journaling. Some headphones is going to be great, because with the energy play practice, we're going to be listening to music and it's just going to help with the audio experience for you. So if you have some headphones, you can grab them now or before we do the energy play practice. Set your devices to do not disturb or place them outside of the room. We really want you to be in this energetic portal with us. If you're here live or on the replay, really devote this time to yourself and the energies that are going to come through, because you're going to get the most out of the experience if you're like here and super focused and in the energy with us. You're also going to need space for your moves, your arms to move. So in the energy practice, you need enough space for your arms to go out as wide as they can and up. So just making sure you have that space around you that your body can just move intuitively and take up space. And then finally, come in with a beginner's mind for a paradigm shifting experience. Okay. All right. So this event is called Miracle in the Matrix. So, first of all, what is the Matrix? So, the Matrix is the set of conditions that provide a system in which something grows or develops. So, for the purpose of these two events, when we're speaking about the Matrix, we're speaking about essentially the world that most of us are living in and kind of like the laws that we're abiding by within that system. So, yeah, the structures, the systems that govern the way that we move through the world. And a lot of this is conditioning that we have experienced from childhood and we've brought through to adulthood. So it's essentially the way that most people on the planet see the world and create this world together. So most people are within this, I'd say like 95% of people are working within this matrix. But there is life beyond that. So that's what we're going to be exploring today, and how you can become a miracle moving through this matrix reality. Okay. So, what is a miracle? A miracle is an extraordinary and welcome event that is not explicable by nature or scientific laws and is therefore attributed to a divine agency. So, this is when miraculous things happen that just like don't make sense, and scientists are kind of like scratching their brain. Like, I don't know how this has happened because it's beyond the current laws that we have within this matrix. So that's what a miracle is, and that's the energy we want to be bringing through for you over these 2 days. So what does it mean to be a miracle worker? Or what are the energies that a miracle worker would embody? So supernatural, so beyond this like 3D matrix, paradigm shifting, reality defying, magical, extraordinary abilities, extrasensory, mysterious, and quantum cracking. So cracking the quantum field. Sounds like fun, right? Okay. And this is what you'll be activated into over the next 2 days. So this is like the intention Jess and I are bringing to these 2 days that we're having together, this kind of 26-hour portal that you're going to be holding, is to activate this within you so that you can become that walking miracle through the matrix.
Okay, so we'll introduce ourselves. We just wanted to remind you why you're here, why you felt called. It is through these like miracle frequencies that you would be feeling called to come in to this 2-day event. So some of you might not know us. Many of you have been in our worlds over and over again inside our different spaces, but some of you, you'll be here for the first time and you might not be sure why you've been called and who you've been called to. So we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Jessica Renee Rose. I'm a mystic mentor. I'm a psychic, a healer, and a little bit about how I got to this space of playing in the supernatural all the time, of walking through miracles all the time, is really like self-started. As some of you might maybe relate to, when I was a kid, I would watch Disney movies. I would watch the fun movies where there was usually a mystical character, like a fairy godmother or a fairy or an angel that pops in as this side character who has these mystical stage like abilities, and they kind of understood the workings of everything, and they could, wield their powers of telekinesis or telepathy or magically heal things. And a lot of what I was seeing and feeling as a kid already then felt like, I think we're supposed to be able to do this. Like, it didn't feel totally out of the realm of possibility for me. There was enough alive for me in my own soul and in my heart that was resonating with that as some kind of truth and something that wanted to be nurtured and loved and wanted to be played with. And then I got older and you grow into a teenager. I was always still so fascinated by things that were unexplainable, supernatural stories, ghost stories, things like that. Aliens, although ironically I was terrified of aliens. That was the one thing I was scared of, and now I channel them all the time. But the curiosity was remained, but life kind of carried on. Then when I had my son 15 years ago, I was kind of cracked back into that space between the realms. As many of you would know, as being mothers and being portals of life, you're so connected to the other side when you're carrying, this little fresh soul through onto the planet. And then also in your postpartum months as well, still really connected to that space. So I was starting to have a little bit of a collection of funny events happening and seeing and smelling things that I wasn't really aware of before. And kind of not sure if I was just a little bit cuckoo and just like really tired from being a new mum. But as it turns out, I was just experiencing another fresh awakening, through this being a portal for new life. And from that point, I started to just kind of self-teach and play. I reconnected with that feeling of, I think I'm holding a capability of being able to tap into energy. I know that there are psychics out there. I know that there are energy workers out there. And if I'm just a human like them and we're all connected to something bigger than us, then there is something in me that knows how to connect with this. And all I have to do is open myself up to be able to tune into that. So I started working with this approach, started playing with my hands, started playing with intention, started playing with calling in my guides, even though I couldn't really feel them or see them or like sense any kind of interaction back with them at this point. And over the years, I started to develop my own senses, my own extra sensory abilities, to the point that I was starting to play with energy and practice with other people. This is all behind closed doors, so like really in the spiritual closet. And I had another spiritual awakening. We have many. And I reached another spiritual awakening one year and ended up in the room of someone who turned out to be a mentor for me. She was a shaman, a Hawaiian shaman. And what she identified and saw that I couldn't see for myself was that I'd actually activated and was already working with healing gifts. But I had no mentor and I had no one around me to identify this for me. So I didn't realize, and I wasn't trusting myself that I was already doing it. I thought that there had to be more to it. It felt too easy. It felt like as easy as breathing. It felt natural. And I thought it had to be harder. I thought I had to work. And I also, there were some aspects to working with this energy that I wasn't, there were things I didn't know. There were things I needed to learn. And she was able to help me with that. And what it was that moved me from playing with this behind closed doors, in the spiritual closet a little bit, to actually bringing it to working in a business, seeing clients, and then, taking off even further in the years that followed, was going to one of her trainings where I ended up in the room with a bunch of other people who were just like me, who, wanted to figure out how they could work with energy and tap into their psychic abilities and just wanted the feedback from her. And I found that in that room, I was so confident in what I was doing already without needing a lot of feedback. And it was such a different experience from her saying, "You're already doing it. Just trust me, you're already doing it," to me actually being in the room, actually using my hands, actually interacting with a lot of people and seeing how other people were also interacting with energy in ways that were similar, in ways that were different to me. And this all sparked a really deep sense of trust that I was able to anchor in a way that I hadn't been able to up up until that point on my own. So this is several years ago. I've been in my business now for coming up to 6 years, and now we've moved on to doing trainings and process initiations and all kinds of things. Like, things really rapidly move when you embrace your gifts and you embrace your miracle worker abilities, and life drastically has changed for the better. Way different vibration now. So this is a little bit of my story, how I got here, and why I want to start passing some of this on to you guys today in the miracle frequency, in that flow, so that you can start accessing some of this yourself and see how that flows forward in your life when you start working with miracles. When Susie and I met, there's a little bit of an overlap in our story. I'll let her take over and introduce herself.
So hi, loves. If we've not been in a space before, so nice to meet you. I'm Susie. So my energy journey began back in, actually, let's go way back when, because Jess shared at the start of her share that, growing up, she was so intrigued by these magicians and fairy godmothers, and this like question of, or this knowing of, if they can do it, I can do it. I had a very different experience, so maybe some of you will resonate with my story. I grew up a strict atheist, not by parental conditioning or anything like that. My parents let me have my own beliefs, but I just believed nothing existed beyond the 3D. Like, what you saw was what you got. I didn't believe there was a God. I didn't believe in aliens or any energy beyond the 3D. So that was like my upbringing. And I was like pretty strong in that conviction and like quite proud of it as well. I was like, I'm an atheist. And it was like a strong part of my identity. And in 2024, I went through an extremely dark night of the soul, deep depression, crippling anxiety. And during that year, when I started to kind of come out the other side of it, I felt this real call to do my yoga teacher training. I had been on a trip to India. I received, I would say, probably my first strongest download that I was meant to go and do my yoga teacher training. It made no sense whatsoever. I was in the court. I was like building up my walking up the career ladder in the corporate world, en route to be a director by the time I was 30. Like, I was really did not want to do my yoga teacher training, but this download was so strong that I was meant to go and do my yoga teacher training. So I had no interest in being a yoga teacher, but I went and did this training, and that's when things started to shift. And I started to teach yoga classes, and through the teaching of yoga classes, at the end of the class, when people would be in Shavasana and I would do a Shavasana assist, I might just gently touch their shoulders or give them a head massage. People started to come up to me after class saying, when you touched me, I had this experience. So I've like never had this experience before in a yoga class, but this happened. So weird things started to happen in my spaces, and I couldn't really understand why that was happening. And a friend and I would say my first ever kind of spiritual mentor at the time said to me, "Oh, I feel like maybe you should go and explore energy more." She called me the energy girl. And I just thought this was hilarious because that was not something that I was intentionally working with. So she suggested I went and did my Reiki training, which I then went and did. And that was like a really beautiful experience. I'm sure like a lot of you that are here, actually, I know some of you who are here live have done your Reiki training. Those of you watching on the replay have done your Reiki, and maybe like some of you are feeling to go and do your Reiki training. And I had an interesting experience with that because it was like so beautiful and understanding how to channel energy. But I felt like there was just something missing for me, and I also felt like the way that I was working with energy in Reiki, I was like, I don't feel like this is the fullness of how I'm meant to be working with energy. I feel like there's other ways I'm meant to be working with energy. So I wasn't holding energy healings or anything like that after my Reiki. I was just I'd done my training and I kind of understood how to channel and work with energy in that way. And then in 2021, I entered a business mastermind for women, a feminine-led business mastermind, and that's when I met Jess. And inside of that container, there were two very powerful mystics, Jess and Phoebe Marie. Some of you may know Phoebe through Instagram. And I remember just being in awe of these women. I was like, wow. When I would hear about the work they were doing in the world and the energies that they were tapping into. And I felt really drawn to both of them as friends and also just like super curious about this world that they worked in. And I remember it was Phoebe that actually said to me, she was like, if you're drawn to this work, it's because there's something inside of you that wants to be unlocked. So I guess I wanted to bring that into the space because you may have that experience too, where you go to workshops or you go to ceremonies, or I don't know, you're in spaces and you feel like, I want to be able to do that. It's because you can. Like your soul is remembering something that it already knows and just needs to be activated and nurtured to come back to life. And then shortly after that mastermind had completed, I entered um, a spiritual energy mentorship with Jess, which was called Matrix to Mystic. And that experience changed the whole trajectory of my life, of my business, of the way I work with energy. And similar to what Jess shared, it made me realize, oh, okay, I'm actually already working with energy in these like beautiful, powerful ways. I'm already bringing through healing frequency, but I just needed someone to be able to reflect that back to me. So through that experience inside of that container, I really just remembered who I was and what gifts I'm meant to bring through into the world. And through, yeah, Jess's support and then the support of the other women in that group, and like noticing how we all have very unique gifts and ways of bringing through energy and working with energy. After that container, I just fully stepped into quantum healing ceremonies, one-to-ones, and really like owning that part of me that like so wanted to come through. So that has been my experience from being a strict atheist to being like full quantum queen. So through both of our individual journeys, Jess and I have come together over the past few years, joined forces, and we now hold space holder trainings together online and in person, priestess initiation retreats internationally, soulful business masterminds where we bring business and the mysticism together to create heart-led and mission-driven businesses, other mystery school offerings, and we both hold clients through one-to-one transformations and healing experiences. And we do have a mystery offer unveiling tomorrow. And this is something that so many people have been asking us for over the last few years. So we're going to be sharing more about that tomorrow. Okay, so some questions that we're going to be feeling into, and then Jess is going to share, you know, a bit more juice around this. But what is it to slip into miracle frequency? This is what this 2-day event is all about. What is it? And why do some people create miracles on the regular? Like, why do some people walk through the world just having miracles on a daily basis?
Thanks, Susie. Okay, so just opening up with that of, what is it to slip into miracle frequency? Would love for you to just hold this as you tune into what this is for you. What I have discovered, what Susie has discovered over our time with our clients in group spaces, in one-to-one mentorships, is that there seems to be 5 key elements that really encapsulate what someone holds, what someone embodies when they are moving through the world in this miracle work away, in this light work away. And so to activate miracles, to become a miracle activator in your life, just for yourself, but also effortlessly for others, it really comes down to embodying these 5 things. So, what is the first one? This is where you might want to get your pen and paper out, write anything down that feels really resonant for you, and might just channel through your own channel as well. It might not be on the page, but feels true for you. So, the first one, speaking of what feels true for you, is truth signature. I could very easily have just written this up as authenticity, but I really love to refer to this as truth signature when it comes to moving through the world in this extrasensory kind of way, because there's a signature to truth. And when you feel what that is, it becomes very easy to identify it, whether it's your truth running through you or someone else's truth running through them. And they could be totally different things, but the signature of what is being held and shared in the space can be felt. And when you're someone who's really embodied in your own authenticity, you're naturally going to emanate this truth frequency. So you become a walker of truth, you become a walker of authenticity. But because you know your own truth so deeply, it's very easy to identify it in the world that you move through as well. And what this allows you to do is to see beyond illusion. It allows you to see beyond, what is directly in front of you, or the words that someone says when there is a vibration totally different behind them. It allows you to speak through the veil, basically, and not take everything at face value, which then allows you to become unfuckwithable with. So this is where a lot of personal power comes in, because you're so anchored into truth that you really become unshakable. You'll move through the world in a really different way. And where you may not have had courage or confidence before, you'll find that it starts to come through because you're anchored in truth and authenticity. And I describe this as being the predominant vibration of the seer, of the oracle, of that person with the third eye and really like psychic sees through, because they see the vibration of truth. They feel the vibration of truth and they embody it. Now, the second one is love. But before we speak into what love is, what's so interesting is in the last couple of years, they've actually measured that authenticity as a vibration is the highest that we can hold in our body. So if we want to be high vibe, even more than being loving, we need to be authentic. Love combined with authenticity is like, yum, perfect. But truth, authenticity is just like the pinnacle. It's the peak. Love, however, obviously extremely important. And we need to be vibrating in love and emanating love and moving love through our body as well. And this is because love alchemizes. Love is the healing vibration. Love is universal. So where truth, you can feel authenticity in one another and we can have different truths, but you can recognize the vibration. Love as a vibration is universal. So it's a little bit of a different way of interacting with people. The vibration of love is also what dissolves barriers. So where there's fears, where there's breakdowns, where there's disconnection, love sorts that out. And this is more the vibration of the healer. So this is where we've spoken a lot about healing abilities, but this is what healers use really to bring about healing, to facilitate people healing themselves, because healers don't heal, healers hold space for others to heal themselves, but it is the vibration of the healer. The third key element to being an embodied miracle worker, activating miracles through the world, is to be really rooted in a sense of trust. Now, this is probably this is the piece that people stumble over the most. Not trusting themselves, doubting their abilities, getting in their head about a download they've received. And they were right the first time, but then they, didn't trust what was coming through. They didn't surrender to the universe. They couldn't get in flow with that. And so things go a little bit skewy. If you can remain anchored in trust, if you can cultivate a vibration of trust within you, this is the center, this is the groundedness that is needed to be able to hold these big vibrations in your body without letting them go in a panic. So trust is really about being able to trust in the godliness, in the divine that exists within you and also exists beyond you, even though that in itself is an illusion as well. It is all one, but it is being able to trust in what appears to be within you and what appears to be beyond you, that higher power. It also tends to go hand in hand with this sense of knowing, which we would all recognize from time to time, where we don't know why, but we know something. This is the feminine energy, like the feminine intuition that we have. Is sometimes we don't need the details to be able to really know something and to trust ourselves. That is also that trust frequency. Trust also allows us to be able to surrender, to actually slip into the miracle frequency when we don't know where life is going to take us, but the divine wants to take us somewhere, or we're being used as a vessel and we don't know why, but we're able to trust into the experience of what that is, let go a little bit, let our mind get out of the way and just move into our hearts and become one with whatever that higher power is that's moving through. Love, usually. This is more the vibration of the sage. So when you feel into this kind of vibration of trust and what it is to embody that, you can feel there's almost like a wisdom that drops in. So like the sage who's been there, done that, seen it all, like kind of knows how things are going to go, and people come to them for wisdom, for that sage wisdom. This is the vibration of the sage. And again, a little bit like the oracle, but it's more like the wise one. The fourth, now this almost seems like it's in contradiction to the sage, but it's not. It's a little bit paradoxical, but it's not, because we are multifaceted. So this is openness of heart and mind, which essentially is kind of being in this state of, I don't know it all. So being able to hold trust of knowing, I trust, I know something within my body, I can trust what's happening even if I don't know, but also I don't know, so I'm going to be open and holding all of that. So this is where we get really full spectrum with things. The essence of this is play and curiosity. So this is how we explore, and this is how we actually learn, because if we just straight up knew everything all the time, we wouldn't learn anything new. So that's why it feels like a little bit of a paradoxical kind of situation here with having both of these in this list of 5 key elements, but they all work together. And I describe this more as like the vibration of purity. You could also say it's the vibration of an inner child. But there is a pure innocence to this openness. And the one thing that I would say with openness is that the reason why there are 5 key elements here, and it's not just one, to becoming a miracle worker and being able to move through the world in this high vibrational state, is because openness is a really good example of why we need our multifacetedness to be online and everything working together. If we were just fully open, if we were just innocent and pure, yes, we could be all in the light, and we can have that childlike love and innocence and play. But if we don't bring through maybe a more grounded vibration of the sage, or the discernment of the seer, by really cultivating how to identify a truth signature, then this is where an open heart can sometimes get, you know, maybe used and abused in a bit. And a really good example of this is empaths who are really open, really holding a lot of light, and then a lot of people come around to suck that vibration, that light from them, because they're so open that they're not using their discernment to know how to protect themselves. And it's about being able to really be a master of your energy. The final key element is kind of bringing it all together. And this is having a sense, having a state of multidimensional consciousness, how you move through the world. This is essentially a heightened awareness of what is occurring across space and time beyond the third dimension and the fourth dimension. So third dimension is physical, fourth dimension is more our mind and our thoughts and some emotions. This is essentially being tapped into your spidey senses. So when we don't quite know what it is, what we're picking up on, but we start to sense beyond the matrix, right? So this is bringing together that miracle in the matrix. We're not abandoning the 3D and we're not abandoning the fourth dimension. We're actually bringing it all together. So we're bringing our heightened awareness and our higher vibrational and our higher vibrational self down into the body to embody it all so that we move through the world as a miracle worker. This is the vibration of oneness. So this is the vibration of being everywhere all at once, and also just being here in the present moment. Again, like these are concepts that we can put into words, but truly when you feel into the vibration of them, words don't do them justice, but they can be sensed in the body. So getting yourself into that embodied miracle worker state, I just want you to look over this page here, this list, and feel into everything I've spoken into, and see if you can identify just at least one of them where you feel there's parts of you that are wanting to be embodied even more. Maybe you're not trusting yourself with your extrasensory abilities, your supernatural powers. Maybe you have a lot of doubt. Maybe you constantly seek reassurance from outside of you because you're not trusting your own intuition. Then that would be a sign that maybe trust is where you want to focus to bring in more of that miracle frequency, cultivating more of the trust. Or maybe you're like, I'm actually really good with like bringing in love vibration. You know, I see through the bullshit constantly. I'm good with the truth signature. I'm actually still pretty open and accepting of things. I'm curious and playful, but I know that there's so much more beyond, and I can sense that my awareness is wanting to expand into more of my multidimensional consciousness. I want to go into the astral. I want to go into the quantum field. I want to go into these other places and get to know myself there and bring that down into my body as well, so that I'm fully embodied in it. So having a look, I would love for you to drop into the chat, which of these 5 do you feel, if you were to embody it even more, it would just up your miracle frequency so much? Okay. Now, as you're dropping that into the chat, I want you to hold this. We're going to take your chosen key, your chosen miracle key, and we're going to drop into our energy play practice. And our intention here is going to be to drop more of these, your chosen signature, your chosen key, into your body, so that we can activate even more of it online today for you. So just do a time check. Okay. We may go a little bit over. This exercise is 15 minutes. So we do have time to really drop in. So make yourself comfortable. Make sure you've got your space where you can have your arms going in and out. I'm going to be guiding this. And I'm just going to set up our music ready to go here. I'm just going to stop sharing just a moment. Okay. All right. All right, loves. I hope we are all ready. Now have your open, curious mind with this. This is just really, it is an activation of sorts. What Susie and I are going to be doing, Susie's going to be holding the energy for us, holding the container, clearing away anything that might be needed to be cleared so that we can bring through the vibrations that we're wanting to invite in for your highest good. Now, remember, you are always sovereign and in control of what it is that you are consenting to, like even in an energy space. So if there's anything that you're just like not sure about, you're not feeling cool with, just say, that's not for me. Like this can just be an internal thing. You can still play with the exercise and just see how you go. And then I will be guiding you through it. So you'll hear my voice. Okay. Okay, loves. I'd love for you all to close down your eyes. Just take a few slow breaths. Sending that breath down into the belly just to let yourself anchor a little more into the space here today. And as you're doing this, I want you to bring your palms together and just gently rub them together. And what we're doing is we're just starting to activate the chakras in the hands so that they're alive, so that they're awake, so that you can pick up on any energetic feedback here through your hands. And I'm going to start playing the music now. You'll hear it slowly start to build. Okay. Now, with your hands, you can keep rubbing them together as long as you wish, or just whatever feels natural and right to you. And then when you're ready, just let them separate a little. So they're just sitting in front of your body. Actually, I think the music is not coming through correctly. Stay there in that position for a moment. I'll see if I can get the music. Actually, I'm just being told to not worry about the music. So that's okay. Oh, turned off anyway. Okay. All right. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. Okay. So with your hands in front of you, just want you to feel into the sensation that's on your palms from having activated the chakras. And just let your hands kind of with your elbows just gently hanging by your side. No real force in holding your hands up. Just let your hands come to a natural distance in front of your torso. And bringing your intention of your miracle key through here. So just bringing your awareness back around what it is that you're opening up to hold more of today, whether that's more truth in your body, more authenticity, more love, a deeper trust, a sense of openness, or you're wanting to tap more into your multidimensional self. And let that come into your experience here. Now, with your hands, your palms facing one another, I want you to slowly start moving your hands closer together, not quite touching them, and then pulling them apart. And just doing this repeatedly, just letting your hands start to connect with one another energetically in the space that sits between them. And what you're noticing here is the interaction of the energy that vibrates from each palm. So just notice how that feels when you bring your hands closer together. Do they feel magnetically drawn, like they want to stay really close? Or do they almost feel pushed apart, like they're being polarized into different spaces? Just keep playing with that. There's no right or wrong, because this is your body, your channel, and your intention. Now, I just feel for us to see what happens if you just break this up a moment. So maybe shake your hands, maybe like feel a sense of disconnection happen between them. And then bringing them back together so we can see what it feels like when they come back together again. So you get a sense of that. Do you need to rub your hands together again to kind of generate a connection? Or is there a connection straight away? Maybe you're not feeling it yet at all. That's okay. Just relax. You're just letting your arms kind of just dangle, really. So barely letting your muscles tense to hold your hands in this position. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to start to work with pulling through more of that vibration that you're open to receiving today. So, as if you're opening your channel from your crown, starting to visualize a golden liquid light moving into your crown from the top of your head all the way down through your skull, your neck, into the heart space, down through your arms and into your palms. On this light wave, you're letting your chosen miracle key drop through into your body, into your energy field. So silently in your mind, and you can say this out loud if you like as well, saying the words, I am open to receiving more of this miracle key. And just notice what happens with your palms as you invite more and more of this into your field. They may stay where they are roughly. They may start to expand out, almost like being pushed out a little bit to be able to hold more. And with your palms, we're still letting them just hold this energy that exists between them. So ever so gently, letting them breathe in and out. So this energy will start to contract and expand as this is the nature of life. You might feel a wider surge of energy start to come through. You might have a quicker sensation, and then it might drop away, and then you might get in your head. So let it just kind of breathe in and out as you just observe what's happening to you. And as this frequency is starting to come through, just continuing to drop through into your crown. As your hands are just doing their thing, letting your awareness start to explore a little more through your body, the sensations that are happening, the temperature that you feel, your breath. Maybe you feel really grounded or in your head. And let it all be okay. And I'm going to invite through one final surge of frequency, your chosen key frequency here. So on your next inhale, as if you were breathing from your crown all the way into your body, through your palm and out into your energetic aura, your field. You need to breathe in this frequency. with the intention of I'm calling in as much of this as I can hold for my highest good right now. Okay. So we're just letting this start to crystallize in your field. And just giving yourself a little thank you here as the energy starts to close out for every single part of your body, your mind, your heart that got involved today to expand itself, to let go, to be activated into something new. Your very human parts of you and your miraculous superhuman parts of you. Now, finally, with your hands, I want you to trust your intuition here and take those palms, and we're going to just seal this experience by placing your palms on the part of your body it feels right to, as if when you lay that palm against your skin, it seals everything in. And taking a deep breath and an audible exhale. Just hear that beautiful sound coming from your vessel. This is you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the space. Welcome back, everyone. Now, of course, that was not what we planned. Kind of was. It kind of was, but the music didn't work. And I normally run that exercise with music. But really interestingly, now I hope you didn't hear it, but like there is so much noise going on outside. So I'm really glad you didn't hear it actually, because I wanted you to be able to drop into your experience. But it's so many kids playing, like so many kids playing outside, screaming and giggling and all of the things. So it actually felt like a really nice like vibration to have around. But at the same time, it really like in the exercise as I'm guiding you, I was reminded of like, yeah, like to be a miracle in the matrix, it really is about being able to be tapped into everything and not let the 3D matrix distract you from the other vibrations you're here to hold, and be able to be in all of it at once and not, disassociate from the life that is happening here, but still be in all of it. That's what it is to be multidimensional. So I was reminded of that lesson. Now, I'm going to go back to, we're going to run a little bit over, but we'll just want to close the energy. We are nearly done. I'm going to bring our present little presentation back up just to guide us, and I'm going to hand over to Susie. Oh, actually, I need to press this button. Where am I going? You get to see my full screen now. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We're back in. Okay, so welcome back, loves. So we'd love to know in the chat, just so that we can anchor this in, is which of the 5 did you choose to embody, and how are you feeling after this energy play? So if you just want to pop that in the chat. Okay, so we've got trust. Trust, definitely feeling more connected to my body and my heart. Beautiful. Peace and sleep. Beautiful. So much trust. It's always the thing. It's always the thing that comes through. Trust and love dropped in too. Feeling my heart butterflies. Beautiful. Truth, I'm feeling more embodied. So grateful. Amazing. The interesting thing about trust as well is, if we think back to when we were little and we were so playful and maybe we had imaginary friends, and the way that we moved through the world was beyond the conditioning. And then through our parents or caregivers, that's often when we're told what we're seeing or experiencing isn't reality. And that's when the trust, we start to have this lack of trust in ourselves. So this is what we're wanting to remember through this exercise. Okay, trust, sleepy and tingly hands, trust, expansion and heart energy at the end, trusting. So most of you, it's trust. Trust was my selection. Place my hand on third eye to deepen my connection to source. So beautiful. Thank you all so much for sharing. I might just quickly speak into why I guided you to do this with your hands. So the heart chakra the hands are an extension of the heart chakra. But for most people, when they're starting to connect with their extrasensory abilities, it is usually through the hands that they're able to start playing with energy and feeling energy, seeing energy. And what can happen is when we hold our hands like this. So some of you were holding your hands in different ways, which is still totally fine, because you would have done what was right for you in the moment. But when we hold our hands like this and we just kind of let them float, what you can start to feel is the energy build up. So this is something that we play with inside our containers, that we do with our clients, and you'll learn more about this kind of stuff tomorrow. But you can build energy between your hands. You can use it for healing. And as we were bringing through that vibration, some of you may have felt that your hands started is as if they were holding more of it, as if your auric field was starting to expand in holding more of that key vibration you were inviting through. And so it starts to bring like a sense of connection to what's happening beyond what we can fully see and feel, but the hands are responding because the heart is picking up on it. So we start to see something happening in our body that feels like, fairly safe. Some of you might have been like, I'm not sure. So you could have been tense, and that can It can stop us being able to just like float with it to see what happens. But that's all okay as well. Like there is no right or wrong. Um, but what happens is like we see our hands starting to reflect what our energy is doing. And so we start to get an idea of what's actually going on by watching what our hands are doing. So that's why I love this exercise, just to as a beginner kind of play space, but it's not really beginner. It's foundational, is how I should describe it, because you'll always come back to something like this in energy work. And many of you are healers who probably are like very familiar with this kind of thing anyway, but this is one of the foundation pieces we always come back to. So just wanted to speak into that in case any of you are wondering why you were being guided to do this with your hands, like what the intention was behind that for you. Susie, over to you again.
Okay, so we're starting to come towards completion, but you are being held in this like little energetic vortex with us for the next 24 hours until the end of day 2. So over the next 24 hours, we'd love you to observe what happens when you hold your awareness around your chosen miracle key. Okay, so that one that you chose to bring in today, over the next 24 hours, really bringing that in to everything you do. Okay. Another thing that kind of dropped through just before today's class was you can also bring this through into your sleep state as well. So before you go to sleep tonight, you can, ask this question, please support me to trust deeper, or please show me where I can trust deeper, or please show me where I'm not open or where I can be more open. And by setting these powerful intentions before bed, often we'll have something that comes through in the astral or in the dream world that's showing us where we're not fully locked in that key, or where more of that key can come through. So this is just like a little bit of fun where you've got not work to do, but you've got an intention of how you move through this 3D matrix world with this key, but also exploring that beyond that as we go to sleep at night, and we sleep for 7 to 11 hours or 12 hours or however long your sleep cycle is, and then just jot down any notes, anything that comes through, any places where you notice, maybe if you're working with trust, that you're not trusting or you're trusting more, and bring these observations to day 2 tomorrow, because we'll have a moment of reflection at the beginning to feel into this with you. And then tomorrow, we're going to be looking at clearing resistance and fears as you step into a life of mystery, magic, and miracles, because this is often the biggest block around becoming, a miracle worker in the matrix, is like the resistance that we have, the fears and the beliefs that we have that are blocking us from fully stepping into that frequency and holding it. Because you really can become that person who like walks into a room and shifts everything if you can really embody this, but that like there's often human fears and resistance around that. So tomorrow we'll be looking at that and clearing that, so that we can clear the path for you to fully step into that role in the world. So that is what's coming tomorrow. So thank you all so much, those of you who are here live and catching up on the replay, for carving out this beautiful sacred time to start to dip your toe and into this work and to play. Jess, is there anything else you want to add before we complete?
I think the final thing I want to close out on is acknowledging that each and every one of you is already a miracle just by your existence, just being here. And also, we can create miracles that otherwise would not occur inside this matrix unless we fully start to embody our full capacity as a soul beyond this flesh. So my intention for you is to start to connect with that concept even deeper, knowing that you're a miracle and you're perfect as is, and there is no right or wrong in how we start to play with any of this. And just that you start to feel that, trust that, acknowledge that truth within yourself over this next 24 hours until we see you again, and continue anchoring that you're chosen. Key. Until then, I can't wait to see what you start to observe and catch up on that tomorrow. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And if you're on the replay, let us know how you went. And I think we'll sign out here.
Bye,
All right,
everyone.
bye everyone.